everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is very exciting. My name is Katie Jacob, if you didn't know that already, and I'm the president of the Portland, Oregon chapter.
And I am Rob Roman. I am the artistic director of PDX Voices. Up until a few weeks ago, the chorus that represented the Portland, Oregon chapter.
Yeah. And then on behalf of the board of the Portland, Oregon chapter, the four of us, our humble little chapter, we want to just thank everybody for coming in. We just want to kind of just welcome you to the informal, very informal Zoom call for this vocal summit chorus. Very exciting.
Yeah. So just to give you guys kind of a little tiny bit of a history, when we started PDX Voices as a mixed chorus, we kind of started without a home. At the time that we started the chorus, BHS really hadn't started the Everyone in Harmony movement. So we kind of started the chorus just with the intention of kind of leaning into what we felt Everyone in Harmony meant to us. Of course, we really wanted to start an ensemble whose focus was on the pursuit of musical and vocal excellence, but more primary to that goal and focus was making the most out of the opportunity given to us eventually by BHS to sing this wonderful style of music with all of our friends and family and spouses, and to do so within a culture of family, of fun, and hard work.
Yeah, actually, when PDX Voices began, the whole Everyone in Harmony thing wasn't as integrated as it is now, and BHS didn't really have like a place for mixed choruses to compete. So that was pretty exciting when we were able to create the Portland, Oregon chapter as a BHS chapter back, I think it's September of 2019
Yep.
is when we became a formal chapter. But yeah, with that said, eventually, when we created the Portland, Oregon chapter, we had it in mind to be a main hub for all the forms of barbershop in Portland. So someday we knew we wanted to introduce a women's only chorus and a new men's only chorus into the barbershop world, all under the Portland, Oregon chapter umbrella, having all three opportunities. Basically, like whatever flavor of barbershop you're into, we would be able to provide that. But we didn't really think it would happen so soon. It's exciting,
Right.
though.
So kind of what happened was at the end of September of last year, myself and 5 other local barbershoppers, all on this call, Sean Sherrod, Ian Christensen, Eric Christensen, Drew Osterhout, myself, and I'm forgetting one other person. Patrick Claypool. We were all contacted to gauge our interest in starting a new men's chorus in the area. Obviously, you're all here tonight, so we were all interested. So after our initial vision meeting, it became abundantly clear to me that this new group was going to be founded on many, if not close to all, of the same cultural pillars and principles that PDX Voices and the Portland, Oregon chapter were started on. So when the discussion turned to how this new chorus would go about becoming an official BHS ensemble, I suggested the idea of this new group joining the Portland, Oregon chapter charter. And that started the ball rolling from there.
There was many months of discussion. Like you said, they started talking about this in like September, October, and here we are in June. Lots of planning, lots of discussion, lots of foundational work that we created as a team, as you're going to hear a lot more about tonight. But we're very proud to report, as the president of the Portland, Oregon chapter, that Vocal Summit is now the newest singing ensemble under the Portland, Oregon chapter umbrella. We have a ton of wonderful things to share with you tonight. So without any further delay, it is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce to you the director of Vocal Summit, Justin Miller.
Woo.
Hi, everybody. So good to be with all of you virtually and see so many faces, and just to start this journey with you. Tonight was a long time in the making, several months in the making, as Katie and Rob had pointed out. So it's very exciting. It's all been very what if, and this imaginary chorus to work with, and now there are people in front of us, and hopefully most of you are hoping to make the journey with us. One thing that I just wanted to start off by saying is what my vision for what this is as Rob said, I was one that kind of contacted a bunch of people as my time with Westminster Chorus is drawing to a close, and as we are reaching a time when vaccines are fairly widespread and mask mandates and things like that are beginning to go away very slowly, perhaps on our neck of the woods, but certainly nationwide. And so what is this going to look like? Well, for me, what I would like Focal Summit, and by extension the Public Portland Oregon chapter, to be is really a strong arts organization with barbershop as the center, that can stand alone in the community and really being community and family driven. And Rob mentioned family, work ethic, and entertainment as being some important values. And we're going to talk in depth about those values and how and what goals we want to set, or have set rather, and how we want to achieve those goals. But for me, in my experience, especially with Westminster, obviously barbershop is the focus, but in a world where, and I'll speak candidly because we're not exactly sure of what the Barbershop Harmony Society is going to look at with just organizational struggles that they're having, wanting an organization that stands on its own, a vocal organization that stands on its own. Again, with barbershop as a center, but some of the repertoire that I hope to program is outside of an umbrella. And I think of Barbershop Harmony as being a wonderful fulcrum point to choral music, and on the other side of that axis being kind of contemporary a cappella thing. And programming music that's all of those, and to create an experience that's really fun for our singers, but also going to appeal to a wide array of audiences that might attract us to sing on stage with other local groups, maybe a gospel choir and singing gospel music with them, or again a more classically oriented choir that we can stand on the same stage with them, as really again develop a organization, a arts organization that can stand on its own, with or without the society. And that will mean likely, there's some of you might hear being like, yes, Justin Miller, gold medal director, I want to be a part of that. I want to go for a gold medal. It's not necessarily going to be the primary goal of this group. Are we going to compete in barbershop sanctioned contests? Yes, we will. Is that going to be the end all of what we do? Absolutely not. I am a highly competitive person, but going through all of that work, I know that there is more to making good music than just those contests. And in fact, I would say of the high level artistic events that I've done in my career, whether it be 3 performances at ACDA, the Barbershop Harmony Society contests, or other choral events outside of the barbershop umbrella, the society contests have done the least in terms of exposure into the wider arts community. And by least, I mean they've done essentially nothing. So when we talk about having a standalone organization, we really have to look beyond what the barbershop community. That doesn't mean we won't see barbershop. The 3 songs that we're going to start with are pretty solid barbershop, sort of. We'll get to that later. What else is on my little bag of notes here? Oh, the other thing, and a really important one as we talked, and I want to thank Rob, Drew Osterhout, Ian and Eric Christensen, Sean Sherrod, and Pat Claypool was kind of the first group to get together. And a lot of our initial talks wanted to be about family, wanted to be about community. And one of the things that we decided early on is that we would be a weekly group that met weekly for rehearsals, but there would be one rehearsal a month that wasn't rehearsal based. It was family based, which maybe meant that we would invite everybody, we would invite wives, we would invite significant others, children, neighbors, whatever. And even if a song wasn't ready, we would perform for them and have a family night. Maybe that meant that rehearsal, that I don't know, arbitrarily speaking, the last rehearsal of the month would be canceled, and we would reschedule it to the weekend, and we would have a barbecue together. We'd have a potluck together. We would go bowling as an organization, as a community, and really build a sense of family. We'll talk about the specifics in terms of the 3 values in quite shortly. But one of the goals was that we want this to be not dad's thing, or not my husband's thing, or not my partner's thing, but our thing. And that's one of the things that I think will allow us to make great art as well, if we have a community that is fully supportive of what we're doing. So Rob and Katie, I don't know if you've given me access to share my screen, but can you?
Yeah, you should have.
I should have. Yay! You cannot start screen sharing where another participant is sharing. Okay. Are you sharing? There it is. Got it. Okay. So I am sharing my screen now, and this is this value sheet that we've been coming up with. 3 values: entertainment, family, and work ethic. One is not more important than the other, but we're going to spend just a few moments on talking about them. So I'm going to take things over to Eric and Kari Christensen, that are going to talk about the family value, what that means to them, and some of the goals and things that we have set. Kari and Eric, take it away.
All right. Can everyone hear us okay?
I can.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes, we can. You're good.
Great. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys. So just in general, I mean, this past year for all of us it's been a pretty lonely and a pretty isolating time. And so as we started talking about this group and what it could be, we really felt like having a place where people felt like, it would be noticed if you weren't at rehearsal, a place where people held you accountable and want you to be your best, that type of community feels more important now really than it ever has before. And so to us, the concept of joining Vocal Summit, it's not simply about just finding something to keep you busy or something to finally put on your calendar, but it's more about an opportunity for enrichment, for self-betterment, and for community building. Traditionally, when you think about family, we think about our spouse, our kids, our parents, our aunts and uncles, cousins, whatever. But what we're talking about is building a barbershop family. And that barbershop family includes all of you. It's people who may or may not have the same belief system, political beliefs, housing situation, may or may not have a job that is similar to our own. It's people who we wouldn't necessarily meet if we weren't involved in the barbershop world somehow. And that the sense of the barbershop family is really about putting aside all of those differences and in fact, celebrating those things that make us each unique, and working together to create something. It's about pushing ourselves, working together on a common goal, coming together in community and in fellowship, supporting each other and each other's growth in a safe place, while engaging together in social opportunities and, of course, music making. So in short, we see barbershop as really an opportunity to expand who we consider our family. But it also, of course, provides an opportunity to include our existing families, our spouses and partners and kids, etc.
So I'd like to take a moment to share kind of why we, and I say we because many of us were involved, why we feel that putting family at the center of the barbershop experience is important. Just a personal note for myself, growing up, my grandpa, my uncles, my dad, they all sang together in a chorus back in the 70s. As time progressed and my brother and I grew up a little bit, we joined the chorus. We got to meet all of these guys who we normally would never meet, 9, 10, 11-year-old kids interacting with a wide spectrum of people and ages and being exposed to different things. It really enriched our lives quite a bit. We sang together in multiple quartets, my brother, myself, and my dad and I, which then ultimately led me the opportunity to meet and marry my wife, Kari. So thanks to the Forest Grove Ballad Town competition. But it wasn't just myself but my parents met through barbershop. My dad met my mom. My brother met his wife, Crystal, through barbershop, through a little sing out in the park for her family member. And of course, Andrea and Justin, my sister Andrea and Justin met through barbershop. So essentially everyone in my family got married or met each other specifically due to barbershop. So it's really important, pinnacle for us. But it hasn't been just about the music, but the people behind the music for me. I mean, I could make a laundry list of ways that barbershop has enriched my life. But I want nothing more than for others to experience the same opportunities, to grow the same similar relationships and make some incredible music along the way. So our goal is to consciously create a welcoming environment where we can draw from our larger family for input, and so we can accomplish great things together.
Mm-hmm. And for me, the barbershop world has just been incredibly welcoming. So as a spouse of a barbershopper, as an MC or an event organizer, I've really seen firsthand the value of being involved in this community. And now as a parent, I'm really beginning to understand, how being involved and allowing our children to be a part of this world can provide an opportunity, as Eric said, for them to grow as individuals, just beyond the music. My background in music and theater shaped my life in so many ways and really enriched it. And I already see how allowing our children to be a part of this community will enrich theirs. And like Eric said, it's pretty incredible to be a part of an organization where people come from all different backgrounds and ages, and they come together and just demonstrate that really high work ethic and, persevere together to create and achieve goals. And as a parent, like I said, that's something that's really rare to find in an organization. So to not only be a part of it, but to help build it for our future, building a safe, inclusive environment that's built on being family friendly, that's a pretty amazing thing to be a part of. So as you can tell, as we worked to build Vocal Summit, it just became so apparent to all of us that family really needed to be a core value of our chorus. As you're seeing there, what that means to us as a chorus is that the culture of this organization will foster a close-knit community where family is at the very center of all of the planning, the goal setting, and the music making. It will be an inclusive environment that will allow the ensemble to feel and act like a family. We'll be able to involve family members, and that will benefit the family units as well as the larger organization as a whole. As Justin mentioned, one rehearsal a month will be a family-centered event or rescheduled as sort of a camaraderie building event. And finally, a strong support organization that's not just made up of the chorus members, but of significant others and family members to be able to allow everyone to be involved.
And having that pillar, we thought we'd set some goals, both short-term and long-term, just as a guideline to help achieve some of these milestones. We'd like to, one of our short-term goals would be to establish a welcoming and engaging culture by building a rehearsal that includes family moments and opportunities for us to all share what's going on in our personal lives and to connect on a personal level. Like Kari said, by having regular family gatherings outside of rehearsal, and establish annual traditions like barbecues, campouts, retreats, things like that. You all, if you've been any part of any barbershop event like that, there's been some historically great events, and those are the memorable experiences that we want to recreate and to foster and create as many of those as we can. So some of the long-term goals would be to bring our family culture to wider communities through not only the barbershop community, but also local arts organizations, nonprofits, music, school music programs, and like Justin said, to become Portland's premier vocal ensemble, and not just in the barbershop sphere. But we also would like to establish a family singing atmosphere where it's not just dad or uncle or brother or whoever's night or thing, but it's our thing together, and all the kids and all the significant others and spouses are on board and just as excited to have an event or have a rehearsal as we are. So we'd also, another one of the long-term goals would be to revive some sort of musical festival competition, something like Forest Grove, not necessarily has to be forest grove, but something as a long-term target. So those are just some of the things we jotted down, and part of involving so many people is that we want everybody to be involved and to give their voice and their opinions and their ideas of things that could make it exciting for them and their families. And we want it to be an open communication for everybody.
So as you can tell, we're very excited about this, and about, what having family as a core value of this chorus looks like and how it makes it different and unique from other choruses that we've been a part of. And we are very, very happy to invite you to join the Vocal Summit family. And now I'd like to turn it over to Mr. John Miller, and he's going to talk a little bit about the core value of entertainment.
Thank you, Kari and Eric. I could actually talk about family because I'm Justin Miller's dad. I used to be just John Miller, but now I became Justin Miller's dad because that's the more famous thing for it to be at this stage. We view entertainment really as one of the key values. It's the first one listed, but probably family is at the center. And we think of it in two ways. Firstly, we want to be endlessly entertaining to any member of the chorus, and extremely entertaining to any family members who happen to come along with the chorus. In short, it really should be fun. Secondly, we want to be entertaining to our audiences with quality singing, creative performances, variety in our music. We want our audiences to share in the fun that we're having. Justin has on the screen shared the chorus values. You have heard about our family. Let's take a look at the entertainment values if we can. First of all, the first goal is create experiences and performances where memories last a lifetime for singers, that's us, their families, the connection, and of course the audiences, as I mentioned, and produce performances full of diverse music that are uniquely entertaining that could not be experienced anywhere else. And there are 3 songs that we will sort of share with everybody for our first kind of singing get together. And they sort of capture that spirit, at least to a degree. One of them is a Beatles Sunshine Medley that was arranged by Mark Hale. It's familiar to many. It would be capturing the audience's popular appeal. The next one, going to our barbershop roots, is a barbershop ballad from Jim Clancy, You Don't Know Me. Powerful barbershop ballad, but captures every bit of the ringing chords that is barbershop. And as Justin was saying, finding a way to broaden that perspective into choral genres, an original composition by Richard Burchard, who Justin has worked with extensively with the Westminster Chorus, called The Lone Wild Bird. Again, this sort of captures the singing values of a choral sort of group. And again, those 3 together sort of talk about all that the entertainment can be. So we have also sort of looked from an entertainment standpoint of what we could achieve in a 1, sort of 3 and 5 year time frame. And to go through those sort of quickly with you, the first one is, as we said, sing and have fun. Clearly, if we are having a good time singing, if we are singing well, it's fun. And we want to have as much of that as possible. And we're hoping that from that, we can also increase memberships, and perhaps membership growth can be a metric of success. Also, we want to have a local non-contest performance. Again, contest will be part of the group, but we also want to have a local non-contest performance fairly quickly. We're not quite sure how COVID will be affecting everything. We hope to get together, and that can be a sort of a performance to each other on our own, but in some ways we want to have a live performance that we can do for the community. And thirdly, establish an accessible and engaging digital presence, because while we want to be housed in Portland and then farther to the Northwest, we also, through digital and technology that is available to us, we can have a wider spread than that. And we want to have a robust digital presence, including a website and active on social media, and share our music with others, not only just in this area, but around the world. Our sort of, as go ahead a little bit more into a three-year goal. So we've gone a little bit further now. We would like to perhaps be skilled enough to do a tour out of town. I'm not sure exactly what that means. That could be throughout the Northwest. It could be throughout the West. It could be throughout the United States, or some parts of the United States. Perhaps it's attached to a contest, perhaps not. But we'd like to have a tour that we could do. We always want to have things on the calendar for members to look forward to. And I think we're looking for a few months ahead, so that we're always looking for something. We're thinking about how we can stretch ourselves creatively. Continue to have live performance and digital innovation. Digital continues to change. We want to change with it and be on the cutting edge of that. Potentially have a large project, perhaps like a recording. We also want to begin the stages of perhaps a concert series, perform for non-barbershop audiences, at least one, and as I say it, live the brand, which includes the entertainment, family, and work ethic all tied into one. For a 5-year goal, they do get a little bit ambitious, but we feel that we can certainly achieve these things. We'd like to have an international trip. We'd like to take our music around the world, whether it's to New Zealand, maybe it's to Germany, maybe it's to Sweden, barbershop hubs, one and all, or maybe we go somewhere else where barbershop is only just beginning and picking up. We want to have a regular performance presence, a concert series that could be established. It could be locally, it could be a little bit more regionally, variety of vocal performances, and have an audience beyond barbershop. We want to be one of barbershop's favorite choruses, but we want to be more than that. We also want to have a signature event, maybe tied to a family and fun and tradition. Maybe we'll name it. Maybe we'll have a contest in this meeting to name it. But we want everybody to be involved in that. And finally, we want to complete the Everyone in Harmony trifecta by creating a women's chorus for the Portland chapter. So we really are something for everybody. And those are sort of the entertainment values. And quite honestly, creativity is at the core of that. And quite honestly, with people who have been involved in barbershop for as long as all of you, you know creativity, and you know how creativity can be contributed. And when you put it together with people, it can take off and be a magical thing. So in short, we want to have fun, we want to do it with a family, and we want to do it with a fair amount of work, which takes me to the next section. Let me throw it to Justin Miller, who will talk about the work ethic.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate all that. So none of these things can happen without a fair amount of elbow grease and hard work. And we want to make sure that the way in which we work elevates everything else. So quickly to kind of read the bullet points of the work ethic value on your screen. Everyone works to improve regardless of previous skills. There's a lot of great singers here, lifetime barbershoppers, some district champs, some international, quartet singers, some international quartet champions. And I think regardless of who you are, everyone should have the same desire to get better. Because if we all get better, the group will get better. There'll be clear expectations from the singers from the moment they walk in the door. When we share an expectation sheet with you that that's kind of been passed from the Masters of Harmony to Westminster, then I've edited for this group. Communication, collaboration, and accountability are key. Talked about audition in a moment. If that word scares you, it shouldn't. Again, we'll talk about that shortly. Contest participation is used primarily to hone skills and to push the perceived boundaries of individuals of the group. So as I mentioned, it's not going to be the focus, but we will do it. And a quick sidebar, although I mentioned like contests happen and there wasn't a lot of, development in terms of what we can do outside of barbershop because we won a contest, because we participated in a contest. But that being said, a lot of the wonderful things that we did in a contest, for example, speaking of recent experience in Westminster would never have produced the From Now On Come Alive song if it wasn't for contest. So although I have this love-hate relationship with contest because man, it's a lot of work, man, it takes energy, maybe away from other things, but because you were participating in it, it really elevates what we do. So we'll continue to participate in that because of those things. And then the bottom bullet point, continue to expand musical horizons for the betterment of individuals. I'm going to trip because I'm sharing the screen. I'm going to look at the screen real quick. Just to talk about the goals, the 1-year goals. So the main kind of 1-year goal is just that everyone establishes or understands what riser etiquette and riser protocol is. Because I think a lot of you have been barbershops for a long time. Maybe there's some new people on the call tonight but the culture of different groups is going to be different. There might be a fair amount of, grab ass or whatever that goes on the riser sometimes. So, the director cuts off and you immediately go to tell a joke. That was funny, by the way. Maybe not what we'll do here. We're going to have fun in other ways. We're going to have those monthly get-togethers, those monthly family rehearsals. There's going to be some tag singing before and after rehearsal tag singing. We haven't decided if there's going to be a break. If there's a break, there'll be tag singing there. But when it's time to work, it's time to work. So our 1 year goal is that stuff is well known and we know exactly what to do. Some 3-year goals. We have a mentorship program established. So when new people come in, they're given a buddy, they're given a mentor, and they can be mentored not only how we sing, but how to behave, how to act, how to do certain things to really be part of the culture of the chorus. And establishing a professional culture is really the bread and butter of this work ethic value. And then finally, for some 5-year goals, and there's some other goals, I'm just kind of giving the key ones, I believe. One of the 5-year goals is contest success. And as a larger committee, we decided contest success is good enough because we don't know what success might look like. Depending on where we are at this 5-year, that might mean towards the top, or it just might mean improvement. So we want marked success at the 5-year mark. But we also want to take a look at the procedures, the policies, the culture that we've put in place to make sure work ethic is successful, and then reassess and reevaluate. So we're constantly reassessing, constantly getting better, constantly wanting to be the best that we can. I'm going to stop sharing to share another document really quick. And while I do that, I'm putting him on the spot. But my buddy Pat Claypool, who we have a long history with being in the Masters in Westminster, is there anything that you want to say, Pat, about what you envision the culture of this group to be based on past experience and future hopes and dreams?
Well, I think a lot has been said already, right, about the vision for the chorus. And I think, all of us that met initially and everyone that's been working so hard, I think we've got a mutual feeling that we're excited about this, not just because of the singing. And of course, it's been a long year for everybody, but what brought all of us to Barbershop and what continues to keep us there, right, is that camaraderie and that connection. And I think what's exciting is that we're going to be able to do this, up in the Pacific Northwest and be able to create a chorus that really stands by, everything that, we're laying out in front of everybody right now. And I think the family and brotherhood and all of that, that's really what this is going to be about. And, Justin and I have known each other for many years and we've competed for many years and, we're competitive people. And for those of you that know us, I don't think that's ever going to go away. But when I was planning on moving up here, I reached out to Justin and he said, "Hey, we're doing a thing." And it's like, "Oh, what is this thing?" And so when he started sharing that with me, I thought, you know what? I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to, really create a group that is inclusive, as Kari was saying, and is family oriented, and to be able to step aside and host campouts and events and all the traveling that I've been able to do with OC Times, which was all the best trips, I should say, were Anacortes weekend or LDJ, and for us to be able to do something like that up here, I think that's something that I'm excited about, something that my wife is excited about, because it is about family. And so as far as culture goes, I would say, whatever we're going to do in this first 6 months, I think it's going to be the same thing we're going to be doing in 6 years, because it really is going to be at the heart of who we are.
Thanks, Jake. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen again. And this is an expectation sheet. Again, it was created by Masters of Harmony. It was taken by Westminster, and then I took kind of both of those and reworked it a little bit for what we hope to accomplish here. And I'm just going to read it. Eventually, this is going to be something that will be signed. saying, hey, yeah, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this family culture, this fun that we're having, but also I want to sing really great music. And so I agree to kind of go through these things. And then I'll talk a couple other specifics before I pass off to the next person. So Vocal Summit strives to reach the peak of vocal excellence while uplifting lives through music. Every member must be committed to achieving excellence in vocal production, a variety of choral techniques, and performance skills. Vocal Summit requires each member to be able to follow the music director, assistants, and/or coaches, memorize chorus music, memorize and execute staging and choreography, attend rehearsals on time, and accept the responsibility of singing with the chorus at its public appearances. Participation as a chorus member with the privilege of singing in public appearances and in society competitions will not be allowed if a member's attendance at chapter rehearsals prior to these events does not meet the expectations established and made public in the music director and music committee. Exceptions can be made on an individual basis and for good cause shown only by the music committee. After a member passes their initial audition, they may be asked to participate in ongoing assessments to ensure they are continuing to grow as a singer and musician. So I'm going to take a pause right there, talk about audition. There will be an audition at these early stages, but it's going to be all about growth. So what we plan to do early on is have everyone record themselves singing Heart of My Heart at one of our first gatherings. And unless that recording shows some significant red flags, and I mean really significant red flags, everyone's good. Sometime later, a month, 2 months, something like that, we will do it again. And as long as improvement is shown, we're all good. That's your audition process. Show improvement. There will be at some point later a more rigid audition process to weed in people that are coming in, but it will always be based on the idea of if you can work at it and improve at what you're doing, we want you. Attitude and work ethic really are going to go a long way. So that's that little bit of nugget I mentioned. I would say talk about auditions later. That was it. So don't stress. You're like, oh, I don't want to sing scales for Justin. You're just singing Heart of My Heart. Okay, when a new piece of music is introduced, music files will be available to the members with ample time before the first rehearsal of the piece. We have learning tracks for you tonight. On that first rehearsal, members are expected to be familiar with the piece. On the second rehearsal, it's expected that that piece be learned. By the third rehearsal of the piece, the expectation is that piece be memorized. All music files, PDF and MP3 with voice part garments in current repertoire can be found on the members section of vocalsummit.org. The website's not done yet, but that will be the URL once it is complete. So this is looking into the future a little bit. The music and tracks that we have for you are currently just in Google Drive. A little bit into that familiar, learned, memorized vernacular. So here's what I mean by familiar, learned, and memorized. When you show up for the first rehearsal and it is familiar, what that means is when holding the music and looking at it for visual aid, you can get most of the notes and rhythms correct. You're not looking at it for the first time. You're not struggling to get through it. You can get through a lot of it. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, and that's okay. Perfection in art is an illusion. We never reach it, but that doesn't mean we stop trying. For the second rehearsal, learned. What does that mean? Well, it means with the visual aid, you got it. You're nailing it. If you take the visual aid away, maybe there's some, flubs here and there, but it's learned. And then by the memorized, well, that's just that. It's memorized and you're nailing it. So you'll have a 3-week time anytime a piece of music is introduced to get it to that level. Now, if it's like this giant, grandiose piece of music, we might segment it, but that applies. That 3-week rule applies. Members should arrive in rehearsal in good voice, having done some vocal warm-ups on their own and in a focused mental state. Members should not behave in a way prior to rehearsal or performance that would jeopardize their ability to contribute to the best of their ability. This includes the consumption of alcohol, marijuana, and other substances. While music is sometimes printed for members, members should provide their own copies or have them readily available on a tablet. Members should not read music off a smartphone, because as a director, that's annoying to have someone like doing this. Print it out or invest in an iPad or tablet. Moving on, involvement and communication. Members are expected to attend all rehearsals and performances of Vocal Summit. All. While it is recognized that 100% attendance is not possible for everyone, an attendance policy is in place that will be monitored by the music team. The specifics of that are still being ironed out. But the truth is, we want you to be there as much as you can. Also, we've decided, based on conflicts within the leadership, as well as some of the other choruses in the area and their location relative to downtown Portland, that we'll be rehearsing on Thursday nights. I know that is the same night as Salem, so there might be some Salem members that are going, oh shoot, what do I do? And we understand that there's a little bit of conflict there, but after significant soul searching, that was just the best for what this organization is going to want to do in the future. And it's not meant to be have any animosity, whatever, but that's what we've decided. Thursday night rehearsal should be considered sacred, and no conflicting event should be scheduled on Thursday nights unless critically urgent to your health, your family, or your profession. If members are going to be missing rehearsals for any reason, it is expected that they contact the leadership of their section. Not me. Don't email everyone. That one person. That's who you contact. Where was I? If members are going to be, that's right, I just read that. A lack of communication will lead to a breakdown in course improvement and therefore will not be tolerated. An attendance policy will be regularly communicated by the music committee in order to maintain the clarity of attendance expectations. Each member is expected to be active in the recruitment of quality new members, as membership is everyone's responsibility. Likewise, publicizing performances, concerts, and other public events is the responsibility of every member of Vocal Summit. It is up to the members to make Vocal Summit the best vocal ensemble and musical organization possible. Financial. Vocal Summit, I can skip this section. We're part of the Barbershop Harmony Society. There's dues. Sometimes we'll travel to things. There's some out-of-pocket expenses for those, division, district, potentially international conventions. So just be aware that there is a little bit of financial investment. There is on this document when you receive it, a dues breakdown is there. The current chapter annual chapter fee is $120. It is specifically high because it is a new startup group and we need that capital early on. As we develop a fan base and earn grants and donations and ways that nonprofit arts organizations develop a budget, it is conceivable that that number will go down, but that's where it is right now because of startup costs. And then if you're youngin', if you're under 26, it's just $10 for that first year. That's pretty fun. But then there's dues after that, unfortunately. So personal stuff. Okay, this goes to the culture of the organization and their work ethic. Vocal Summit was founded on the principles of music, family, and work ethic. If you approach everything around you with respect, the following comments will be common sense. Each member is expected to be positive in praise of other members and other chapters and quartets, and avoid boasting about our own accomplishments. Be particularly careful of contests and conventions, as what you say is easily overheard and passed along. Recognize that people will tend to look at our members and observe them very closely. Go out of your way to be friendly and project a positive image. Similarly, be mindful of health and hygiene, as members can be in close proximity to each other for long periods of time. So be clean. BO's bad news. Be conscious that you are on stage at all time. Now, this paragraph is read like you're at a convention, be kind to other convention participants, but it's
it's same true with around you. There's times when there'll be a rehearsal and the lead section is just not on it tonight for whatever reason. Sorry, leads, for picking on you. But they're trying. No one comes to rehearsal and says, I'm gonna mess things up tonight on purpose. And so it doesn't do any good to raise any negativity of like, man, why can't they get their act together? They're not trying. They're not trying to be bad. They are trying to do their best. So we want to create this aura of positivity. And that goes for members of the chapter, it goes for the families, it goes for everybody. As a member of the Portland, Oregon chapter, it is understood that the organization accepts for members only congenial persons of good character. As such, the Portland, Oregon chapter and its members will not discriminate in any way, and consistent with the policy of DHS, the laws of the United States of America, this is a bunch of legalese, and or the state of Oregon on the basis of race, color, age, gender, sex, creed, or religion, national origin, political affiliation, disability, veteran status, sexual orientation. Inclusivity in legalese form. Exhibit a spirit of friendship and harmony toward all members of Oakland Summit and their families, and be fully inclusive of peoples of all races, cultures, and identities. Exert extra effort to become acquainted with all chapter members, as cliques are counterproductive. Be careful not to exclude new members or those who do not know well from your socializing. If you have a complaint, bring it to the attention of a board member in private. Do not express negative feelings in a public setting. This is a big one. When using social media, do not post anything on behalf of Oakland Summit or anything that you do post should be positive and well-natured. Realize that other members of the barbershop and choral communities may scrutinize anything that you post, so do so with caution. When in doubt about how a social media post will be perceived, don't post it. If in doubt about how members of Vocal Summit should carry yourselves, refer to the Code of Ethics of the Barbershop Harness Society, which is as follows, blah, 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 and then a signature will happen eventually. Just going back to social media stuff. We live in a very divided world, and anything that you oh, this is, I'm really passionate about this, I want to post it because other people should know. Be aware that, we all have our own biases, and what might seem right and just to you may not be to another member of our own organization or the larger barbershop or choral communities. And we want to make sure we have just as much goodwill as possible. And so I just caution everyone with how they behave and what they post on social media, of how it might negatively impact the organization in which you are a part of. There's that. There is more to talk about, but we've been talking a while. And so I just want to take a quick moment to pause and open things up to any questions on things that have been discussed. If there's clarification of things that have been discussed, we have more words are tough. There's more on our agenda in terms of some next steps, listening to the music that we're going to be choosing to sing right off the bat, things with organizational leadership and how you might be able to help. Those things are going to be discussed, but are there any questions of things that have been discussed up till now? I'll check the chat. Oh, what time on Thursday and for how long? We are looking at a rehearsal venue in the Selwood neighborhood of downtown Portland, in Moorwood Church. There's a barbershopper who works there as a choir director there, and so that's where we're looking. Our goal is 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. To make sure traffic has died down and things like that. And when you're only rehearsing once a week, you want to make sure you get the most out of your time. So that's why we're going to 10. That's not totally been confirmed by the venue, but that's what we hope. I didn't scroll up. Are there any other questions? You can either unmute yourself and ask or throw in the chat. I'll count to 10 silently. Thank you, Joseph. He loves the well-articulated standards. Me too. We'll give it a couple more seconds. Okay, we'll move on.
Katie wanted to
I have something.
say
Oh,
something.
Katie has something. Go for it.
I in with what Eric and Kari were explaining, I just wanted to make sure that it was super clear what we mean by everybody on deck, everybody being involved. We welcome like partners, kids, grandparents, or whatever that may not be able to participate in the chorus as a singing member to participate on the board. They can be in leadership positions, like being a board member, whether at the chapter level or ensemble management team level. Work as a team member in that way. Like even if you may not be able to be a singer on the risers, you can still be a participating member of a leadership team, which I think is pretty great. Like Kari has been fantastic and integral in this team of getting this off the ground. And I know as another lady who is, you know, in that group as well, it's been awesome getting to work with another lady in this team. So, but yeah, so if you guys have ladies in your lives or gentlemen that aren't able to be a singer on the riser, there's a place for them in leadership if they're interested. So anyway, that was all.
And one more thought about that. There's an idea of having a family sing, of having kind of a traditional song. So for, you know, that if there are children and grandchildren, that we'd invite them and kind of sing they would sing the melody of a traditional, of a nursery rhyme or a simple song, and we'd all sing it together as kind of a one big family. Aaron has a question. As a long-time traditional choral singer and only 8 years or so barbershop singer, what sort of traditional choral chops are you going to have from your vocal ensemble? Important, sounds a bit ambitious from my point of view, or really considering all the groups in Portland, even those who do not sing barbershop. You know, when we say that, it's you know, it's a branding thing. How can you really subjectively judge groups, judge art? It's really hard. But I think one of the things that we can do, and we hope to be able to do, is to not just put on choir concerts. To quote my own college choir director, there's nothing more boring than a choir concert. And I think especially in this day and age, where you can get any form of entertainment that you want at the touch of a button. You want virtually any movie ever made, you can get it at the touch of a button. You don't want to leave your house to get food, you can have it delivered. Whatever you want, any form of entertainment you want, you can have it in your home. So why would I leave my house to go see you perform? Well, that's our challenge. Our challenge is to make sure that it's not just a concert, it's not just a show, but it is an experience that you can get anywhere. And that's our job too, from how you park your car to how you're greeted when you come in the lobby, the lighting of the lobby, the way the lobby is decorated, the lighting of the performance, like all these things. It's got to be a fully immersive experience in order for it to be something special. And there are some choirs in Portland, because I've had some contact with some people that do think that way, but I'm not sure a lot do. I think there's a lot of people that are still going, we're going to put our traditional performance and it's going to be great. And I'm definitely looking more, we are all definitely looking more for a holistic entertainment thing. So I think we can be considered the premiere. Again, it's very subjective. But in terms of audience engagement and ticket sales and being innovative in performances, and also digital marketing things, right? If people don't want to leave their home to get their entertainment because of Netflix and Disney Plus and HBO Max and Amazon Prime, and the list goes on for streaming service after streaming service after streaming service, then how do we get our digital presence on social media so that we are engaging? So those are some of the things. And in terms of choral chops, I have been successful in barbershop by teaching a choral approach. to me, good singing is good singing. It's just kind of what colors and vocal textures do you like? So that's going to be some of the struggle for the first, I don't know, 2 years to retrain what some of us think barbershop should be or could be, even myself, and to have a product that we are all really proud of, that is unique to not just this area, but society at large. I mean, barbershop society as well as just society. So enough about that, but thank you for that really great question, Aaron. I appreciate it. I'm going to turn things over really quick to Drew Osterhout, who has some topics about what we're going to do going forward.
He totally does. Thank you very much, Justin. We've talked about a lot of things tonight, and all those things came from the brains of a few people that you see here. One of the reasons that we're so excited to welcome you in isn't just because you can add your voice to the sound of the chorus, but that you can add your ideas and your passion and your heart to the soul of the chorus. As we're trying to build this thing, you're coming in at the ground floor of what could be a really incredible organization, which I think we have Justin as the director, but it's not enough to just step up and say, great, Justin Miller's got gold medals, I'm just going to come and sing on a Thursday night, and that's awesome. I would love for this organization to be an organization that you're proud of because a part of yourself is in it besides your voice. So to that end, there are all sorts of leadership positions that we are looking to fill. So here's the overall shape of how we're doing this. This is very general, but since we are a combined organization, we're going to have separate chapter leadership or separate leadership teams for each of the choruses within the chapter. And over all of that, there's going to be the board of directors, which is of the umbrella organization. So within that role, if anybody here has been in a chorus, and I know a lot of you have, there's always people that are showing up to set up the risers. There's people that are welcoming guests. There's people that you can go to if you get locked out or you leave your keys in the building, etc. We're looking for someone to be a chorus manager who's going to handle the logistics of our just how do we get people from here to there? How do we make sure everybody has all the information? We need people for communication. We need people to do membership marketing outreach. We need people to lead sections, to be part of the music team. So if you have an inkling of wanting to be to add to this organization in a way that's beyond your voice, or you know someone, as Katie mentioned, in your life who would be awesome for a particular role, please bring that up to us. We're building this thing as we speak, and it would be super cool to have you jump on the team as fellow builders, because I know I'm looking around at this Zoom room here. I recognize a lot of faces, and there's a lot of talent and experience and passion here that could feed this awesome chorus as we grow. So I'm throwing that out there. Justin, if somebody is interested in leadership positions, should they contact you, or how does that work?
That's an excellent question that I have not thought about. Yeah, I think you could email me and then I can keep a log of it. That's fine. Justin, I'll put my email in the chat. So if anybody is, and in terms of also follow up for tonight, if you have any questions, I just direct messaged Drew because he direct messaged me earlier. That's cool.
People could also email me, since I think you all should have my email address.
Yeah, either way, and we can keep a tab of that. I think, as Drew mentioned, there are in the group that has been talking. We mentioned some names. Earlier, I think now would be a good time to thank the other people that have kind of added to our committee. Of course, there's Katie and Kari, who you've heard from, Dwayne Christensen, who's sitting next to me, Kevin Beer, my dad, John Miller, Dean Waters, and I think that might be it. But in terms of this committee that we've developed, we can fill most of the roles. Oh, Sean Schroeder was mentioned earlier. We can fill most of the roles, but we don't want to not potentially have one of you fill a role that you might be really passionate about or really good at that we just don't know. So if you are interested or passionate or just think you might be really good at something, whether it be like, you know what, I'm really good with numbers and money and stuff like that, or I am creative and like to do marketing kinds of things, or you know what, I've been a choral singer or a music teacher or whatever, and I might want to be a section leader kind of thing. Or, you know what, I'm retired and I have a lot of free time. I would like to do something. I don't know what that is. That's cool too. We just, again, we want to get a sense of what the interest is before we just, well, I'll do this and I'll do that. So there's that. I'm going to toss it back to Drew really quick.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. I will probably throw out as people come in. We'll give you a couple questions to give you some fields to talk about your interests, but I just want to lay that out there that this is, I'm personally really excited about this chorus because getting to whatever chorus you've been with, whatever experience you've had, there's things that you like and there's things that you don't so much. And I feel like the opportunity is here to build the sort of organization that I've always really wanted to be a part of. And if you want to step up and get your hands dirty, I'd like it to be that for you as well. Yeah. So to that end, there's some more stuff coming down the pike, but we are planning on to have a in real life, IRL as the kids are saying, meeting coming up at the end of June on Saturday, June 27th. It's going to be somewhere in the greater Portland area. We haven't dialed down an exact location yet, but somewhere outdoors. And we'll have more information coming out to you soon, but put that on your calendar. Also, shameless plug, I happen to direct the Pride of Portland chorus down here, Sweet Adeline Chorus in Portland. And we are doing a show in the park in Portland on June 27th in the afternoon. So June 27th, did I say 27th? It's a Sunday, June 27th. Thank you, Doc, just making sure you're paying attention. Yeah, so that's the date. And so after our meeting, come and listen to my chorus sing and hang out, sing some tags. It'll be a grand old time, but put that on your calendar and look for more information coming down the pike.
Yeah, it is going to be because of the Pride of Portland thing later in the afternoon. It is going to be a mid-morning kind of thing. So if you are a church-going person, just maybe not that we would normally take a Sunday, but because of everything approaching July 4th holiday and Harmony College Northwest happening earlier, this was kind of like, oh, this is a unicorn spot. So if you are a church-going person, we do apologize for maybe putting our nose in your tradition there. But that might be one to plan ahead and skip to sing some tags and to sing some songs with us, because again, that's not a time frame that we would normally interfere with. It's just a special circumstance. And we are looking at Oaks Park near downtown Portland. There's an area with a stage and kind of some over things. Do we say, I forget what time we said. Does anybody remember?
I think it was 11 a.m., but that put that in with a question mark.
Yeah, it was 10 or 11. I thought it was 10, but yeah.
10 or 11, something like that.
It's in the morning.
It's definitely before the 12 o'clock hour. So that's it. That's it for me. I'm just excited to see all y'all here, people of different ages and backgrounds and And I can't wait to sing with all y'all. That's it, Justin.
Justin, there's a question here from Dan. Do you want to address it real quick?
What type of commitment, if any, are you looking for tonight? We're not looking for you to sign your name in blood tonight. Tonight is supposed to be about sharing our vision, hopefully getting people excited of, wow, that sounds like something I want to be a part of. And certainly there are some lofty goals, and I showed the expectation sheet with which might seem lofty, and oh, is this something I want to be a part of? But I feel like the people that are here are ready for something cool to do, whether it be because the pandemic is coming to a close, or because barbershop is something that's really meaningful to you, or just singing is something that's meaningful to you and you want to take a bigger step. So there's no need to be like, I'm in tonight. I think over the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll send some follow-up information. We'll clarify June 27th, Sunday, June 27th, as our first kind of get together, with also the goal of, I think, let me clarify something here. So there's June 27th, but in addition to June 27th, 2 weeks later is July 11th. And the idea is that June 27th would be an opportunity for singers to get together and sing for a first time. And then July 11th, we can invite more people, friends and family, to witness what we sound like after one rehearsal, have a little barbecue kind of thing, and just, again, develop a sense of culture. When are actual rehearsals going to start? We can't tell you that because we haven't fully locked in a rehearsal venue. But that's what we want to look at. So again, some updates over 24 to 48 hours. Perhaps in that email there can be some further a questionnaire of, you know, is this something after you've attended the information session? Is this something that you really want to be a part of? And I think there's currently, I think at max, there's 55 participants tonight. But there were over 70 that expressed interest. So maybe some of them forgot or were busy or just couldn't make it tonight, but they might be able to make it ahead of time. So we do want to get a sense, not tonight, but shortly in the future, who's in, so we can kind of assign voice parts. In the 70 plus that signed up, there was pretty good distribution of voice parts, but there are too many tenors, not enough basses. Maybe we need a few more leads and baritones, that kind of thing. Problems you always have to deal with a chorus. No, Drew, you can sing bass. So there's that. So in putting things to a close, I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for putting up with all this stuff that we're throwing at you. I hope you didn't feel overwhelmed by just the amount of information and goals and organizational leadership and all this stuff. And I hope you do feel inspired of what we want to do. To end things tonight, I do want to play 2 of the 3 songs that we are going to be starting out with. And they are not crazy hard arrangements. I think they're 3 pretty accessible arrangements so that we can get a sense of what this group's going to be. What pieces do we need to pick to further develop skill? What pieces can we do to push things? And how exciting can we get? So without further ado, I'm going to, actually, no, I want to end by playing those songs. So I'm going to ask if there are any further questions, or I know Dean has something he wants to say. Dean, go for it.
Can we briefly talk about or remind everyone timeline for availability of the charts and tracks and what method will be on the website? Or do you want to do the Google share? Or I know the website's still in process, but can we just
Yes.
talk about what's a method to get this information out to everybody?
So when we send out our follow-up, actually, why do we need to send a follow? There will be a follow-up, but I can just share the link now in the chat. It is a Google Drive. I ask that you don't share it because of just licensing and things like that. But I'll share a Google Drive folder, and in that folder are 4 additional folders, one for each of the repertoire songs that we want to be learning, and then one more for sheet music and learning tracks of Heart of My Heart, which will be the initial audition song. Copy link. And then again, eventually so follow that link in the chat. You can save that wherever you like. But that's for internal use only. So you can start learning that. And for now, learn the part of your choice. We can be flexible with that. However, if you're the type of person that we're like, I can sing this or bass, choose bass. If you're a tenor and you can go, I can sing tenor or something else, choose the something else. And if all of a sudden we're like, oh, we have no tenors, then maybe we'll toss one of those people back. But generally speaking, 40% of the course should be bass, 30 lead, 20 baritone, and 10 tenor. And having 10% of the course being tenor is actually really generous. A 10% tenor section is still going to be really loud. So any other questions before we end this with recordings of the music that we're going to be trying? I'll give a countdown.
Everybody's busy downloading music.
Everybody's busy. Where can people access the recording? So the link that I just posted, there's again 4 folders in there. There should be sheet music and learning tracks in all of those folders, that Google Drive folder, and it should be marked as available for anybody to access, not edit necessarily, but access.
Hey, Justin, it's Chase. I just want to clarify that question real quick. I meant recording for the Zoom call, because I've already had people text me saying, hey, I can't show up tonight, but is there going to be a recording? So,
Chase, I'll include that in the email that I'm sending out as a follow-up to everyone.
Gotcha. Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
Hey, Justin, do you want me to post those links on the website?
Sure.
Just asking.
It
won't be member gated. It'll be in front of everybody. So that's why I'm a little hesitant.
Yeah, let's not. I mean, it's no less secure than that Google Drive is, but we'll just leave it as the Google Drive for now, I think.
Okay. I'd be happy though to put the I'd be happy to pop the link to the recording.
Yeah, let's go for it. Oh, for the recording, yes, absolutely. Please do that.
I'll get available to Kevin as soon as I get it.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay. So the first one, as we'll be, I gotta make sure to optimize for video. As we're going, we'll do this one first. So there's a Jim Clancy chart. This will probably, whenever the first barbershop contest is, probably division in a year from now, 10 months from now. This will probably be our ballad, a good place to start. It's the vocal majority singing You Don't Know Me. This is from 2003. So this is going to be one of our very first pieces that we will be learning.
Chorus champions have an amazing track record over the past 30 years, winning the coveted gold medal for an incredible 10th time from the Southwestern District, the vocal majority.
Standing here today, I see you come my way. You give your hand to me, and then you say hello. And I can hardly speak, my heart is beating so. As anyone could tell, you think you know me well, but you don't know me. You don't know. Just a friend, that's all I've ever been, but you don't know me. For I never knew the art of making love, though my heart ached with love for you. So afraid and shy, I let my chance go by. The chance that you might have loved me. And then you say goodbye. I watch you walk away beside the lucky eye.
I think it's a balance thing for Jim. So there's the vocal majority. Barbershop. And again, as I mentioned earlier on, there's kind of barbershop is the fulcrum. We'll have contemporary a cappella to one side, then choral to the other. We have the Beatles arrangement, which is, it's a very barbershop-y arrangement. It's not like way contemporary a cappella. It doesn't sound like pentatonics or anything like that. It's Mark Hill arranger. This, The Lone Wild Bird, is from composer Richard Burchard. This is Westminster singing it. And it's definitely more choral. So it has more of a tenor melody. So remember tenors when I said, hey, if you can sing something else, sing something else. For this one, sing tenor, because it's not barbershop and the melody is in the top voice. So I want them to be a little bit more tenor heavy. What's nice about this is, although it is definitely choral and not necessarily barbershop, it's quite approachable because there's not a diatonic pitch, or a chromatic pitch rather, in the whole thing. It's all in C and it's all the white notes of the piano. And yet you get some really wonderful sounds out of this. So I think it's going to be really, really fun to learn this. So this is The Lone Wild Bird by Richard Burchard.
Leaves you
So there you go. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I hope you're excited about what we can do together over the next, just a few times. We'll meet in the end of June and July, and then beyond. Again, we set some lofty goals, but we think we can accomplish them if we all put our heads together and work together. I'm not going to play the Beatles song because I wasn't able to find a good recording of a chorus doing it. The Masters of Harmony did that song for a number of years, and it's not on YouTube. And I went to their website to try to find it, but technically speaking, it was on their website, but in Flash Video, and Flash Video is now no longer a thing, so I couldn't access the video. So you can follow the link and listen to the learning track at your leisure, but there's not a good chorus video of it on YouTube. Yeah, it's a good chart. It's fairly easy to sing. So again, thank you so much. If you've enjoyed what you've heard tonight and you feel like there's somebody else that is a singer that might want to be a part of this, feel free to pass the information along, and we you can send information to Rob or send information to me, and we'll kind of get all that information going, and we'll hope to see everybody on June 27th. Details will be forthcoming, and that's it. I'm going to hang around for a couple of minutes if anybody wants to just chat or ask questions or whatever. But feel free to log off and download those files and get to learning.